In every trial movie, the most important topic is the pursuit of the truth. The question, is the accused innocent or guilty? Will justice be made? However, Primal Fear, an important exponent of this genre, puts the concept of justice and truth in questioning. This approach raises some questions. If the defendant is truly innocent but proven guilty, what is the real truth of the story? Or the opposite way, if he or she is indeed guilty of the crime but found innocent, has justice been made? Well, the terms justice and truth for Gregory Hoblit, the director of the film, are more complex than they seem. These ideas will be present in both the atmosphere of the trial and the nature of reality. This will be the main dispute. But also, there will be always a constant struggle between two worlds. Let's take a look. The first scene of the film is crucial. We are going to watch it in detail so we can analyze every aspect of the opening. The movie begins with a black screen, and the first dialogue we hear is the following.
My first day of law school, my professor says two things.
For a start, we see, or rather we don't see, nothing. Meaning that there is an ambiguity between what the main character, Martin Bale, says to the journalist and what is actually happening, as if we can't be sure if the facts stated in that dialogue are true or not. Regarding the dialogue, the key word is two.
Professor says two things.
2, one of the most symbolic and powerful numbers in terms of defining a fantastic world. This is reinforced by the next dialogues.
If you want justice, go to a whorehouse. You want to get fucked, go to court.
Again, two worlds opposed by the concept of truth, and on the other hand, two worlds getting mixed up, each one merging with the other. The shelter of the truth, justice, and the legal, that is a courtroom, and the fake and illegal, that is a whorehouse. Let's continue. Also, the first shot consists of Bale washing his hands, as if they were dirty in his search for justice. This situation has a symmetry in this scene where Janet says this.
I want to go home, and I want to wash my hands, and I want to...
After this, we're going to hear a key exchange between Bale and the journalist. Let's hear it.
Say you have a client who you know is guilty.
Martin Bale, the character played by Richard Gere, states the main concept and future dispute of the movie. Truth versus illusion of truth. Curiously, moments later, he says that in reality, if you know the person is guilty, that represents an illusion of truth, meaning that the real truth, ironically, is in the courtroom. Let's go on.
There is only one that
Marty,
matters.
hold still, please.
My version of it. The one I create in the minds of those 12 men and women sitting on a jury.
This is basically Hoblit not only defining the soul of this genre, the trial drama, but also saying what his cinema consists of. Maybe go a little further. Let's get the overall picture. There is a defendant who is raised to the stand to act. The act is orchestrated by the defense counselor, who tells a story about what he thinks is the truth. The jury watches the trial and starts reaching conclusions. There will be an antagonist who tries to pull the truth to his side, creating a conflict. Doesn't all these elements sound familiar? Well, that's because one way to approach courtroom dramas is to interpret the trial as a movie in itself. The trial as a fiction phenomenon. Now, when we say fiction, we are saying that what happens in court is the truth of the characters, but not necessarily the truth of the movie. This is backed up by the mere plot of the movie, in which the defendant is declared innocent when he is truly guilty. One more detail to add to our theory of two worlds colliding is the fact that Martin Bale, of course an experienced lawyer, is sort of teaching a student by telling a story about an old professor of his. A professor teaching a student who also is a professor teaching another student. Again, two worlds colliding. Furthermore, there is another thing that we can add to our theory. All of the conversation that takes place in this scene happens while Martin dresses up for a choir event, even asking the journalist if the question he's asking will be part of a cover story for a magazine or newspaper.
This is a cover story, right?
Yeah.
We can think of Martin dressing up as disguising his real self for a formal one. having witnessed all this only in the first scene, analyzing the dispute between the true and false, justice and injustice, the fake and the real, it is obvious that we are going to see a double story, a story which shows a face but hides another one. As we said in our analysis of The Sixth Sense, which we strongly recommend, this scene also sets a scenario in which things may not be what they are shown to us, having, as a result, a marvelous plot twist at the end, which is not, by any means, forced or rather, fake. As we go through the movie, we will witness lots of examples of exchange worlds. For instance, the presumably bad guy, Joey Pinero, is truly concerned about his neighborhood, and accuses that the state wants to turn this residential town into a bunch of condos for personal economic gain, which later we are going to find out that this is, in fact, true. As a consequence, Pinero will be murdered in a mysterious way, and on the other hand, the seemingly innocent and pure Aaron will be revealed to us as the murderer of Archbishop Rashman. A shot that implies his true essence is this one, where we see both Bale and Aaron behind the bars, suggesting that there is a secret behind both of the stories, that we can't see the whole picture. Of course, at this point, the double personality of Aaron almost explains itself. A stuttering, shy altar boy on one hand and a vicious killer on the other. The first thing we find out to discover the nature of the crime is that Aaron says that there was a third person on the scene, that he was indeed in the room where Rashman was brutally murdered, but he wasn't the one who did it. He's innocent, and somebody else is guilty. When we talked about fiction and reality of the courtroom, this also can be applied to the scene when the psychiatrist is recording the inquiries, but once Martin Bale aims the camera to the wall, the real takes over. Again, the word of fake recorded, the word of truth off the record. So, as there is no record whatsoever of Aaron's transformation into Roy, as there is no truth recorded, Bale has to recreate the alteration in the trial to find that truth in live action, and finally getting justice for his client, which is, ironically, an unfair justice. Well, that's it for now, and see you next week on C Cinema.
If you like the video, please comment, like and subscribe.